Okay, so today I'll be doing a voice show to do a walkover of this fabrication process of how this whole one cabinet fabrication is going to be like. So bear with me because it's my first time doing it. I'm not sure whether the quality is good enough. Yep, so let's go. So same thing is done with 15mm plywood. So I am not sure what is the equivalent of inches because I use millimeters, centimeters, and even meters to do my measurement. So these are some things that I am learn from. Okay, so you can see over here what I'm doing is to do the length, which is the top cover, and also the bottom of the cabinet. What I'm doing now is actually the frame, or what we call the carcass, making the carcass first, and this is the process to align, making sure that everything in terms of measurement is how it's supposed to be like. Okay, so what I'm doing now is to make sure that the measurement are all equal. By doing this, what I'm doing is to do some tapping to ensure that everything is precise in terms of the measurement for the shelving. Next step is to apply glue, a slow, tedious process to ensure that what I am looking out for is to leave no gaps and make sure that all parts are covered. And the next step is to put the backing or the rail of the board onto the wine cabinet. This is the picture. So you see that making the fixture, you can see that how slowly I am. The whole idea is to ensure that I make it equal. Yup. Little details like this are some of the steps that I do. Next is to drill in the screws, screwing in the part to assemble the whole piece together so they will have a strong frame using screws and more screws. I save all the details where you will be bored from watching from me screwing in so many screws, but this is the process of how I do it, and there you go. This is how the fixture looks like. Next is to drill a hole. Okay, so why do we want to drill a hole over here? Well, I will not say it right now, but you can take a look at it later as you continue to watch this video. Yep. Okay, so what I'm doing over here is a method. Okay, since I am not using any form of lamination, I am using 3mm plywood to cover the edge. Why so? Because at the end grain of each plywood, you will see different lines, and the lines comes in different color. And what I'm doing for this project is to do staining. And what happens is that if I were to stain it, you will see very distinct lines on the end grain. By doing this covering of the plywood, is the same method of what I'm doing with laminate, but instead I'm using the wood grain to show how it will look like after I stain it. Same thing using the air nailer to nail them together after applying glue. Yes, applying glue again. Now this is solid wood strips from couplewood. So couplewood is a tropical wood, a tropical tree that is found mainly in Southeast Asia. And I'm using this fixture to do what we call, in the term that old carpenters like to use, if I were to direct translate it, is basically to call it covering mouth. Okay, while covering mouth is more of like hiding the edge, because sometimes what happens is that you will see all the different details of the end grain. So we are doing this, and the next step is to do trimming, flush trimming, using a flush trim bit to trim the edge, the overlapping edge of the wooden strip to make it flush with the surface of the plywood. Okay, this is the part. Okay, you see what's gonna happen. Shakiness, and then I stopped. Yeah, I stopped for a while. What happened was that there's a crack. I'm not too sure whether is it because of my skills or I'm rushing too much. So make a new one, and I decided to use a hand planer using more of a traditional method. Well, by doing this ensures that the whole process is more system and is more even. Yup, planing, planing, planing. I call this my daily workout. You can see the strength, the use in my forearm and my tricep. Okay, that's a joke aside. Okay, just trying to be funny, but I guess I'm not. But I do like the shavings. You can see how fine, and that's where I put up the speed. Okay, once I get the hang of it, to make the wood, okay, to be flush with the plywood shelving. There you go. This is how it looks like after I do the trimming. Okay, so this is the next part. As this cabinet is used with two carcass, okay, so one top and one main body. So for the top, they want to use shapes. That's what I'm doing now, is to make use of the bandsaw to cut out a shape like this. So what shape? That's basically quadrant shapes. So this is a very tedious and slow process. I need to make sure that everything is in line and doing it slowly, because I don't want to afford of breaking the blade. As you know, safety is a concern. So I'm just taking my time, slowly trying to get the curvature right. I tried before going it and once to cut the curvature of the quadrant when I was just starting out. Of course, luckily nothing happened. There's no breakage or any accident. Okay, touch wood, I'm doing it right now. As you can hear, I'm touching the wood. But this is just some of the process that I accumulated over the time of working. I rather do things slow in this sense, so that I can have a better control of how I want the shape to turn out. Safety, priority. Yep, very slowly trying to get the shape. There you go. You see, this is how the shape it looks like. And that's it. I'm done with it. Took me more than 5 minutes. That's the next part. Since I got the first piece, I use it as the base for me to do the flush trimming for the second shape that you can see over here. Slow process because I want to make sure safety is always emphasized rather than me going fast. You can see my eyes, how I'm looking at it. There you go. Clamping down one piece on top of another and doing the flush trimming. Okay, so this is the next part. Okay, what am I doing over here? Well, I'm trying some experiment to cut 1mm thick veneer, okay, wood veneer out of the solid couple wood strip that I have. I'm doing it with a large band saw, okay, using the fence as a support, but the only issue is that because it's cutting 1mm, what happened is that I do not want to raise the blade to cut into the fence, so that's why I put 15mm plywood, 15 or 18, I'm not too sure, but I think it should be 15mm, a spare offcut that I have. Clamp it down to the fence, and this makes things easier. Yup, slow process. There you go, this is what I'm doing over here. Remember what I said just now earlier about covering mouth? Yep, it's the same idea, because I do not want the exposed end grain where you see all the lines to happen after I stain it. So this is why I'm using the self-made veneer to cover it up. Well, for the first try, when I do it, I was very afraid of breaking it. Okay, that's the last thing that I wanted to be happen. But luckily, again, touch wood, nothing happened, and I am able to bend it. Oh, it's a slow process because I'm just trying to make sure that it stick onto the surface. Well, for this, I applied adhesive glue, the adhesive glue that I use to glue laminate on plywood, and I use it over here, and that's it. One try and things fix. Now you can see that I'm trying to press the corner over there. The reason is because it does not stick properly. So what I did over there later was to clamp it for about 15 minutes, and it managed to set itself in. And over here is to attach the strip of wood to make the top layer of the cabinet. Okay, now this is the slow process again of how I apply the adhesive glue. Okay, and even though I've been working with quite a bit of laminate, this still takes some time for me. I still need some time to figure out, especially on small surface like this, 50 millimeters. I am just trying to figure out how do I do it. And to apply the same onto the veneer that I made, yeah, I'm just trying to ensure that the stain wrong, trying to ensure that the glue actually gets covered evenly onto the surface of the veneer. Of course, there are still some little parts that get onto the work table, but one thing good about adhesive glue is that before it dry up, I just need to remove it and it can be easily be removed. Yep. One done. And me applying more to ensure that it is covered fully. Why cover fully? Now this is the part. Okay, after ensuring that it's dry, okay, testing, and I'm ready to stick it on. That's it, one try. Sticks fast, using my fingers to apply pressure, because since it's thin, 1 millimeters, I didn't use an extra block of wood to apply pressure. One thing is to ensure that there's no cracks, because I'm afraid that if I were to use too much force, especially with another object, it's going to break the strip. Then you can see how flexible it is after I cut it into 1 millimeters. And this is me pasting the second part. Slowly trying to get it done, and yep, that's it, pressing it down and me applying pressure on the end. Yeah. So this is always a constant checking to ensure that it fits, it sticks, and letting it rest. Alright, so the next part, since I have experience with the breakage with the flush trim router, I decided to make use of another traditional way of doing, which is to use a chisel to do the flushing. It's a long process, but I actually quite enjoy it. Find it to be therapeutic, as I'm afraid that if I were to use the flush trim router, it's going to break it further. And that's it. This is how it looks after I get everything done. Now, this is before me attaching the shelving. Okay, so this is what you see earlier on. What I'm doing right now is to prepare for the staining. Of course, need to apply some newspaper below first as a support so that the stain will not stain onto the tabletop. Okay, some of you may think that, oh, I'm just using glove to do staining, but I actually wore a latex glove underneath, so it's 2 layers. But what happened was that due to the pressure, the latex glove actually broke, and some of the stain actually got onto my fingers. It caused a burning sensation. I would not encourage you guys to do it the same way as me. If you can use a roller or use a paintbrush to brush it. Another mentor that taught me was to use sponge. But one thing about using sponge is that sometimes it soak up too much, it will leave uneven patches. So that's why I just thought of using a cloth to rub onto the surface. There you can see how it looks on the width of the cabinet after it's being done. to get the stain on. Okay, so this is after doing everything, and I am going to screw the bracket, since I mentioned that this top part is to be mounted onto the whole body. And this is some precise checking to ensure that the bracket is in the middle. Long process. Well, I'm sure there are better ways to do it, but sometimes this is how I do things. And there's Uncle So, my mentor, a master carpenter with more than 50 years of experience in woodworking. He used to do rosewood furniture, and he's helping me. Oh, yeah, too much force, but luckily I'm there to help support. Facing the mirror over here. So this is one cabinet with a mirror inside. Now a sneak peek of how Uncle So pastes the mirror is to use strong double-sided tape, double-sided adhesive, as you can see over here. And the second part, I applied some Max Bond to secure, to paste onto the wood. So this is Uncle So, slowly ensuring that the mirror fits. Alignment has to be accurate. 99% I would say to be accurate, because I am pretty sure that I am not so skillful to hit 100 or 101%. So 99% is what we are aiming for. Not trying to say that I am not taking pride or I'm just finding excuse, but sometimes there are bound to be human error. Alright, now attaching the top part of the cabinet to the main cabinet to form a complete cabinet without the shelving yet, of course. Now Uncle So is telling me to screw it in while he's holding for me. Yeah, so glad to have Uncle So over here to help me out. If not, I'll be having a hard time to locate it myself. Not saying that I can't do it alone, but it's just that sometimes having two pairs of hands makes work easier. Don't you think so, from watching from the start of the video? And that's me again, mounting the L brackets for the shelvings. Trying to ensure that the screws go in correctly and the shelvings will sit onto it. That's why I take some time to ensure that the L bracket is as straight as possible. Once one is done, we can continue with more. Yeah, you can see from the reflection how I'm doing it slowly, because I do not want to do it so fast and it goes off. Now is the moment of truth, testing it. Alright, just nicely fit. Pushing it a little without touching the mirror so that we don't crack it. Yep, so this is me checking to ensure that the two shelvings are aligned. So these are some little details that I put into the work to ensure that even though we can't see it from far, but I would like to take some time to look at it to ensure that the alignment is again 99%. Okay, 99%. Before mounting the screws to secure and lock the shelvings. And there you go, once everything is done, the whole cabinet will be ready. Okay, so this is the installation day where me and Uncle So we deliver this one cabinet to Kunari Adventure Golf, a restaurant and golf 2-in-1. Well, it's something that I do for the first time, and I'm pretty sure that it will not be the last time, like this project. Stay tuned for more.